What's up, y'all? So y'all already know who it is. It's your girl, ChocoBluuu Experience. Versatile she is, Alva. Of course, Akari's mother. So I want to do this video because it's time. It's time for me to do the video and talking about how God got me a new house. And so I don't want this video to be long, but I love to talk, so it may be long. So I'm just gonna kind of make sure I put in the most important events and the people that helped me along the way and all of that stuff, right? And so if I forget anybody, I am sorry. It's not that I didn't want to add you in the video. It's just like I said, I'm trying to keep it short, simple, and sweet, but also not tell all my business, but tell what God wants me to tell, what he needs me to tell, so that others are able to see and to know that God is real. He is 100% fulfilling all his promises, all of your promises as well that you have asked him for or prayed to him about. So I'm just going to start it. So this might have happened back in 2020. I applied for this place that I'm in now, and I had totally forgot about it, y'all. My last place, I was like, okay, I'm only going to be there for a year. And I ended up being there from 2019 to 2022, which was way over a year, right? But anyways, enough about the old place. Back in September, I had got some mail. I had got like this envelope, and it was like just a special envelope. So I opened it up. I've read it and everything. As soon as I opened it up, it was like telling me I needed to get all this type of paperwork and documents together so that I could qualify to get into this place. And I just like bust into tears. I remember sitting in my car and my son was like, "Mommy, what's wrong?" And I was like, like I just was crying and stuff in my I was crying in the envelope. I put the envelope in my face and I just was crying in it. And I just was crying because I could not believe like something that I had totally forgot about, God did not forget. I was like so teared up and so crying because I knew that the time was coming that he was doing what he was about to do. I just didn't know how it was going to happen because I haven't been working. And like I said, I stopped being an exotic entertainer back in August. So then, boom, September come and I get this in the mail. I'm like, dang, God, that fast? Like, dang, you working stuff out that fast? Because, like, he know when we finna do something and how long it's finna last. He know when that time has come. He know that this was the time that I was going to walk and I was going to walk with him. And so September came. So I'm getting my paperwork and stuff together, and I wasn't working. I wasn't intending on working nowhere, but I knew that I wanted to get up out of the place that I was in. And so I remember talking to the lady that handled all of my stuff, and she was just like, you got to have a job in order to get into this place, and da-da-da-da. And so, like I said, I really wasn't pressed about it because I knew what I was doing. I knew that who I was walking with, so I really was not worried about it. And where I am at now, I was not at in September. Like, I was not fully walking with God, like how I'm walking with him now. And so, and like I was still smoking marijuana in September. I was still smoking cigarettes. I never been a drinker, so I wasn't drinking. But I was smoking cigarettes. I was smoking weed. So, like I said, I wasn't where I'm at now. Now, I don't drink. I don't smoke anything. I don't smoke a hookah, a cigarette, no electronic cigarettes, no weed, no tobacco, no cigars. I don't smoke nothing. I don't drink nothing but water. And so I'm like, okay, God, so the lady was like, I needed to get a job. So I ended up getting a job, y'all. But I ended up going back to where I was working at the year before because I had been working for myself, my bead business and being an exotic entertainer. That was paying good. I would come home with like maybe $300 to $1,000 like a night if I did an after party, So I really wasn't pressed about like, finding no job. And when I stopped dancing, I was like, well, what am I gonna do now? Because I know for a fact I don't want to work nowhere. And so I had worked for UPS. I had did seasonal personal driver, and I was working for them. And I was like, okay, You know, I was like, let me go back to them because UPS is a union. Like, why not go back to somewhere that's a union? It's people there that's been there for years, their family, you know. So I was trying to get into the Virginia Beach location, but that wasn't working out. So I was like, okay, I want to work in the warehouse. Let me apply for the warehouse. And I ended up getting a job at the warehouse, y'all. So I got the job at the warehouse. Y'all don't even want to know. Like, God literally let me go to that job. Y'all, I only worked at that warehouse for a month. Exactly a month. They ended up firing me. But it was solely, I'm trying to keep it short, simple, sweet, but I'm trying to make sure I don't miss nothing. It was solely because I demand respect. Even when I was an exotic entertainer, I demand respect. Like, I'm not going to let anybody walk over me. I'm not going to let anybody say what they want to say to me. I do bring value to other people's lives. I do make sure that I respect my elders as well and that I respect other people. I'm not just a nasty person, you know, but when it's my time to speak up, I'm definitely going to do that. And so that's what I was doing. But I had to get up early to be at this job. So I had to get up at like 3 in the morning just to be there like 4 and all this other stuff, you know. And the holidays was coming up. So I was going to have to probably be at work earlier than that, you know. And so things were just not going all the way in my way. You know, I was making only probably like $100. I was getting paid every week for now. And I was making probably like $100, if that, you know. And I did do exempt, I believe, but, you know, they still was taking out something. And so I wasn't getting all my money, but I was getting some of it. And so, y'all, as this is going on, you know, I end up contacting the lady because at this point, I'm like, Lord, I'm just so ready to get out of this place. Like, I'm tired of living in this house. And so I contacted the lady and I'm like, yeah, you know, I haven't heard anything. I just want to know what's going on, if they accepted me and da-da-da-da. Because she told me that they had to accept me. So, and approve it and everything, right? And so she was like, yeah, well, you know, you said you didn't have a job. So, and I'm like, that don't mean you stop doing what you're supposed to be doing. Like, still turn my stuff in, like, you know? So I was like, I was waiting for you to give me a call back, tell me what I needed to do next. So I had told her, I was like, you know, I got a job now, da-da-da-da-da. And so as soon as I said that, things started moving fast. You know, now it's like October because I started working for them in like October. So things started moving real fast, you know? And so as I'm working for them and stuff, like I said, I ended up not working there anymore because they ended up firing me because I keep it 100. And not saying like I keep it 100, like, oh, I do what I want to do. But at that point in time, like, I was coming to work on time. I was even at work early. I'm talking about I had to wake my son up early. And these are days he had to go to school. I had to wake my son up early just to drop him off at my grandma's house, who used to watch my baby early in the morning for me. I would have him have my grandma watching my baby, and then I would have to try to leave work in time so I can get back to go and take my baby to school because nobody in my family really had the transportation to help me to take him to school. And, you know, me and his dad wasn't seeing eye to eye. His, you know, didn't have transportation at the moment. So I'm like, okay, you know, I'm trying to do all this stuff. And, you know, I'm really working at this job because, of course, you know, I wanted things to turn around for me. But also, like, I'm like, okay, I need a job so I can get this new place. Like, you know, so I was happy and stuff about that, you know. And so, boom, right? I was kind of getting harassed at this job, you know, and I was starting to think that it was because of my skin color, you know, or it was because I always came to work with a new hairstyle because I know how to do hair. So, of course, I did my own hair because I cared about my appearance. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning and you see this black queen walking in there, you know, not to brag about myself, but I love myself, you know. And so, I don't know, I just felt like I was getting harassed, you know, and long story short, I ended up getting fired, you know, and that went how it went, you know. So then I end up, you know, having to go in and talk to this lady, and she was telling me to come in so we can get some paperwork done. And she was saying like how they had to get stuff from me so that I can get approved by somebody else and all this other stuff. And so now it's like November, right? And so October, she had me come in and update everything. But then she had me come back in again after I got fired. And I was real terrified, y'all, because I'm like, Lord, like, I don't got this job no more. This lady said in order for me to get into this place, I had to have a job. So I'm like, okay. So, you know, when I went there, you know, something kept saying, tell her that you don't have a job no more. And I'm like, no, I'm not telling her that because I want this place, you know? And so I know that was God, you know, because he was like, I got you. it is not about what they say. It's about what I say. I have the last say so. So what? You're finna do something. They finna see something that never happened before. And so, y'all, I went in there and I was talking to the lady. As soon as the lady came in, I was like, I just want to let you know I don't work for the place no more. Like, that was the first thing I said after I said, hey, how you doing? Because I'm real big on that. So I was like, hey, how you doing? Da-da-da-da-da. You know, it's good to see you. I was like, you know, I called them and checked up with them, and they said they haven't got information from you. She was like, yeah, I wish they would have told me. Because it was kind of like she didn't know what was going on, neither with the place that was trying to get me in, either. So everybody just was clueless. And so by me being on top of my stuff and checking and calling in, you know, that helped with kind of being the mediator, all this stuff. And so I was like, yeah, you know, they said da-da-da, X, Y, and Z. And then I was like, yeah, but I don't work for the place no more. And she was like, okay, well, you know, just fill this stuff out. But I'm going to still have to let them know you're not working because, you know, they said that is one of the qualifications. So at this point, y'all, I'm like, but I'm like, whatever, because like I said, God was right there with me filling the paperwork out. And so the lady had ended up leaving out and she went to go do something. And I just started praising God right in that place, y'all. I just started saying, thank you, God. Thank you, God. Like, I know you're going to work this out, God. I have nothing to worry about. The process was long, y'all. Like September, October, November, like, Lord, you know, because I'm thinking about it every single day, you know. And that's why God say, just forget about it. Don't think about it. Because if you thinking about it every single day, then you start to worry. And that's something that you shouldn't be doing. Worrying is a sin. You should not be worrying. So I'm like, Lord, like, you know. So I end up, you know, she ended up getting my stuff. I ended up going back to my car. And as I'm getting in my car and then going in the garage, you know, I just started praising him again. And I started crying and stuff. Because, like, I really wanted to move. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was really ready to go. And so now it's November, my mama's birthday passed, and Thanksgiving and stuff is coming up, and, you know, they telling me, like, they got to do the inspection for the place and all this other stuff. Hold on. So, y'all, while like a week or something go past, the lady called me back, and she, like, telling me that they said the place was approved and all this other stuff, and she didn't know. Well, I called myself, and she was like, the lady from the place that I live at now, she was like, oh, you actually got approved. Because, like, they asked me to come in and fill out some more paperwork with them, too. The actual place, not the lady that was handling my stuff. But they asked me to come in and fill out some paperwork, too. They was like, you got to refill out some paperwork since you're not working no more, you know. So I ended up going to fill the paperwork out. Then a couple of days, I called back again because I was on top of my stuff, y'all. I was ready to go. So I'm, like, trying to figure out what's going on because I got to pack my stuff up, and I got to know when to get some boxes to pack me and my son's stuff up. And so, long story short, the lady was just like, I'm gonna let you know what they say once we send your stuff off. And this is the lady from the place that I live at. And so I'm like, okay, cool, you know, then some days or weeks go by. I can't even remember the time limit, y'all, but it was real fast like this. God had it happening like this. It was something every day. Not, yeah, every month, but it was something every day at this point. So, and this because I had just started getting more powerful, like, with my prayers with God. I'm talking about waking up in the morning like I do now, doing my verse of the day, you know, making it a routine, making it a part of, like, inside of me, not just a fast, a 21-day fast or nothing like that, but, like, literally, I cannot go my days without doing my verse of the day in the morning and doing my guided prayer and doing, like, a Bible plan, you know, just some ways, always some way to uplift and grow in yourself, you know. And so, boom, right? What happened? So, boom, right? The lady was like, you know, yeah, come in, do your stuff. So I did my stuff. So then, you know, I ended up getting saved at this new church that I'm with, which is TCVA, Transformation Church in Chesapeake. I ended up taking all my crystals and whatever that is part of witchcraft and all this other stuff. I end up, you know, just dropping that stuff off at the altar and letting it go, you know, and just fully being all in with God, trusting God, right? And so that's when stuff started moving real fast, like that, you know, because the devil had no access, you know. And so, you know, I started realizing he was making me more intentional. He had me isolated, and I just was paying attention to every single thing going on, you know. And so I started realizing, like, this ain't even about me. This is about God. This is about Jesus, you know. So I started, like, you know, being more obedient, you know. And that's when I say stuff started happening more like that. Like, every day it was something, you know. And so, the lady, I called back again. I was like, yeah, I just want to know, you know, like, if y'all heard anything back. So then the lady was like, no, we didn't hear nothing. And then she was like, hold on right quick. And then she came back on the phone and she was like, yeah, they say you got to prove. And I was like, what? I was like, what? They said I got approved. Like, y'all, I just couldn't believe it. And so she was like, yeah, we just need to get the paperwork from, the lady that's handling your stuff. And, get her to send some stuff back over since you had to redo paperwork since you're not working no more and all this other stuff. And so I called the lady and I told her that they said I got approved, y'all. This lady said, you got approved and you don't even work no more? I said, yeah. She was the main one that said they shouldn't have a problem with you not working because they trying to fill this stuff up. Exactly. So when I called her back and said that they approved me, I couldn't understand why she couldn't believe that I had got approved. But anyways, right. So I had got approved and I was like, y'all, I was turned up. Y'all, I was turned up. I ended up telling my son he was happy because he knew like he was going to have his own bathroom. Like we ain't had to be sharing bathrooms no more. He get his little Spider-Man shower curtain and everything. And so this would be his first like own, not his first own room because he always had his own room since he was 3 months. I had 2 places since then. This is my 3rd place. And so this would be his first time having his own bathroom. And so, I told him he was just so happy, and that just made me even happier, like my son happy about that. So, okay, y'all, let me get to the juices, right? So boom, right? So then the lady was like, they got to do inspection. And once they do inspection, they're going to let me know. So this was like right after Thanksgiving. And at this point, I hadn't told nobody for real. I had maybe mentioned it to my uncle, but I really wasn't trying to tell anybody because I had just been like leaving the tarot readings and stuff like that alone, which this year was the first time I ever like watched tarot readings. But I had like left that stuff alone, stopped watching that, left crystals alone, stopped believing in that mess. And then I heard God say, stop telling people stuff. Yeah, he is the God of all gods. He is the ruler of all kingdoms. But you can't tell people and family everything, And I was kind of cautious on wanting to tell my uncle because, not saying that he's doing anything against me, not saying he's not for me because I believe my family is for me. Some of my family. That's just all honesty. But, I told him, I was like, no, I'm going to tell you because anything good that comes from God cannot be taken away from me. And I believe that with all my heart. So I told him, And so I felt like more delays was coming when it happened. It felt like, one step forward, one step back. But I knew it was God telling me, like, stay humble. I got you. Do not worry. I told you, do not worry. And it only seemed like that to me because, again, I was not forgetting this. I was, like, worried about this every single day, And so after Thanksgiving, they told me I had got approved. They just had to do inspection and stuff. But they needed to get some of the information from the lady or whatever so they could do it. So at this point, I'm like drilling her to make sure she get this stuff in so I can like move in. So at this point, my birthday was on December the 7th. And I'm like, okay, I want to move in like around my birthday. And I'm like, God is funny because I know he going to have me move in around my birthday. And yeah, this my patio. But yeah, so I was like, okay, and so I didn't move in on my birthday, y'all. So now I'm like, okay, maybe we'll be in there before Christmas, right? And so it's just all this stuff going on, right? So then they tell me I needed like $200, or they was gonna let me know after the inspection was done. They was gonna let me know how much I had to have for the rest of the portion because the month was already halfway out, so I didn't have to pay for the whole month. But it was like, we gonna let you know how much you have to have in order for you to move in. So I'm like, Lord, I still had to have some money to move in. Why y'all ain't tell me that? I would have been like got that together, So like I started worrying about that. And so, I started talking to one of my sisters from church, and, I had already told her about, like, God was putting us in a new place. I just didn't know how he was doing it. I just was being obedient. And so she started telling me about, like, how my church does the benevolence. I think I'm saying it right. BENEVOLENC, right? She was like, if you let them know what's going on, you can fill out some paperwork through the website. She didn't know who was in charge of it, but she was like, the church can, like, help you provide for like some emergencies and stuff that you may need at the time of you being in need or don't have it. And so soon as she sent it to me, y'all, I don't think I did it that day, or maybe I did it that night. I can't remember, but I know it was either that day that she sent it to me or maybe the next day. She sent me the link and I filled it out, y'all. So I filled it out. I told them what was going on. I was trying to tell them everything, but God said, you ain't got to tell them all your business. Just keep it 100, be honest. And so I was telling them everything. And so at this point, I did not have the $200. Your girl ain't had no $200. And that's all it was. It was like I just needed $200 to get into the place. And so I didn't have the $200. Yeah, $200, right? Was it 200 or 300? One of those two, right? I can't even remember when this just happened. And so, y'all, I was at the gym and I was like trying to call to see if they got my email and stuff like that. Y'all, God is so real. Soon as I came out of the gym, y'all, I looked at my email. That jank said that they approved it. God is so real. Like, they said that they approved it, y'all. And I was like so happy because this was during Christmas break. And I just knew for a fact, like, I'm like, we're going to be here before Christmas, y'all. We was not in there before Christmas. Y'all, they approved it. The church said, we're going to pay for it for you. And they end up dropping the money and stuff off to me. The lady told me that they just needed the $200 that I could move in. And that's when I started like drilling, being on top of that email I sent and the application I did for my church. Because I'm like, okay, at this point, I just got to have the money, you know. And so I started trying to work like, should I sell some of my bees? What can I do, God, you know? And so they end up doing that. Then I started worrying about, you know, how I was going to move and who was going to help me get my washer and dryer to my house, who was going to help me get my bed to my house, you know, who was going to help me move this stuff, because me and my son could only move but so much. And then I didn't really have the funds to keep driving back and forth to put the gas in my car, so I was worried about that. You know, just doing stuff I was not supposed to be doing. At this point, being disobedient, because God said, girl, I got you this far in September, October, November, December. 4 months. I got you this far. You just got the paperwork in September. Now in December, everything is like really like a snapping turtle moving. And so I'm like, okay, God, okay. So God was like, look, I'm going to send some help your way. All you have to do is ask. It may be some times where you don't want to, but you have to. So I end up hitting my sister again from church. Shout out to you. And I'm like, Lord, I know this girl be tired of me. I know she'll be tired of me. Keep texting her about. But I end up hitting her up, y'all. And I told her, like, sis, I really need some help. But I already let her know, you know, we just didn't know what day I was going to be moving. I had been spoke on it. You know, God had been letting me mention it to her, you know, because I trusted her with this information. And so I was telling her, like, you know, I need the help. And at this point, it's Christmas break and stuff, and it's the holidays. And so I didn't want people to be away from their families and stuff, but I knew I needed help. So I was pushing my pride to the side, and I was like, you know, I really just need some help, you know. So she started asking me, like, what I needed help with and stuff. Y'all, the deacons from church, I'm talking about the deacons and the ministers from church. Well, there's two of them. But y'all, it does take a village, even when you're older. But they came and helped me move my dryer, my washer and dryer. They helped me move my bed. Like, you know, like, it was just beautiful. Like, God was just, he was doing his thing. He was doing his stuff, thistle. And so they got us in here, y'all. They got us in here. And so when I tell y'all, I was more than excited that God got me into my place. You know, he got me into where I had been crying out. I'm not going to say dying out, but living out to be. I had asked God for a place with a balcony. I had asked God for a place with my own bathroom, nice countertop, you know, for the kitchen, the sink, you know, you could pull the hose off and, you know, like all that, you know. So I'm just grateful. And I know I had to do this video because I was like, okay, when I'm finna do this video, God, like, is you finna just come to me and be like, girl, do that video? But I know I did a little clip it, but it was time for me to give y'all the whole breakdown of this thing. Because when I tell y'all that people say, okay, yeah, I don't go to church because of what happened in my past, I understand that. But it's like you have to go and find a church family that you can be fed at and then sow into. Sow into means get at bread, because your pastor is working, your ministers are working. Everyone in the church has a job. Everyone on this earth has a job, a special gift. And so I'm not saying, okay, yeah, just give all your money. Like, once you find a church and once you find a place that you call your home, that you go to, the fellowship with others that believe in what you believe in, then you will get a better understanding of why we do tithes and why we give, you know. But I'm not going to do that breakdown on this video because this video already 25 minutes. But yeah, you know, like, I found a place that was really offered to me way before. I had a sister that had been telling me to come to this church, and I just was, you know, doing my little thizzle, still out here thinking I could do it myself. Because that's when it get hard, when you be like, I got this, I don't need nobody. But, child, you do need somebody. You can't do this by yourself. And yes, I did my own hair. But yes, you can't do this by yourself, you know. And so I'm trying to stay on top of y'all. But yes, you know, like, I couldn't have did this without my church family. I couldn't have did this without God. I couldn't have did this without Jesus. Like, he loves me and Akari so much that he will place us in a new home. Y'all want to know the best part? I had seen, like, this sign, this truck was in front of me. And because I see triple numbers now, and you know, people say that's angel numbers. No, it's God giving you a Bible verse, or it's God sending you a sign. He's trying to get your attention so you can know, like, hey, I'm here with you. Hey, I got you. Hey, you need to stop worrying. You need to stop and just get out of the way and let him do it. And so I seen this truck in front of me, and I'm like, okay, God, what this mean? And so y'all, when the truck went past, I had already said that this is like some type of like important truck. And when I went past y'all, the truck said Dominion Energy. Because I had been thinking earlier that day, like, how am I going to pay to get the lights on here? How am I going to pay to get the water on here? Y'all, the water, the lights already was on. All right, y'all, I ain't got no more storage on my phone, so I got to hurry up. That's what I need to ask God for. Like, can I get a camera? But yeah, okay, so yeah, you know, and that wasn't even the best part about it. The best part about it was that, like I said, he already provided the lights and the water to be on when I got here. Not only that, y'all, the rent is over $1,000. Do y'all know what the lady told me? When she was reading the paperwork to me, she said, your rent is $0. She said your rent is $0. She said your rent is $0. The lights and the water is already on. You pay the water here to us, and the lights, you know, just getting them on, you know, in a timely manner so you won't have a bill due with us. So you mean to tell me God not real? Please. I'll wait. Because one thing about it, my God is real. One thing about it, my God does the utmost for me. One thing about it, he is still doing the utmost for me. One thing about it, this is not even half of the beginning. This is the test for him to see how I was going to react to it. And best believe, with my Shirley Temple girls, I'm getting ready to see. Okay? Like, yes, praise him in advance. The big W's. I ain't talking about win. I'm talking about worship. And so the topic with my church this month is all in for this year. All in. When you're all in, anything and everything is possible. And I just wanted to share this story with y'all because believe me when I tell y'all that God was going to blow your mind this year. Believe me when I tell you that if anybody thought that it was not going to happen for you, do not worry about what they think or what they say. God said, yes, I am. God said, I did that for you last time. So yes, I am. God said that, yes, you are still alive. You still here. Who you think did that? God said you got in an accident yesterday, or you got into some trouble or a fight yesterday, but you're still here. So when I tell y'all that I'm able to hear him more than I have before, when I tell y'all that I've been isolated and intentional, it's because I've been walking with God more. A lot of people are not able to understand what's been going on with me, but that is not my job to tell them. My vision is becoming more clearer, and it's only to those who are wanting to see what they want to see. God said that you don't have to be evil. You don't have to walk around upset. Like my car, y'all, right? I don't have the money to put the gas in my tank right now. I don't. But God said, give me the worship, give me the praise. And watch what I do. And y'all, I want to see what he gonna do. I be ready to see what he gonna do. That's how I wake up like, what you got to do today? You know? And so I'm not worried. I put gas in my tank, y'all, and why it didn't even look like nothing moved. God had me looking at cars last night. So you think I ain't... I'm like, oh, okay. I think I know what that means. You know? Like, that's how you gotta be. You gotta be all in for him. You gotta be saying, okay, God, I'm with you. We doing this thing together. We like this. Ain't no more over here, over there. Nah. One. It's like when you get married, and I ain't married yet, but just like when you get married, you become a one flesh. So I'm going to stick to Exodus 14:14. The Lord fights all my battles. I need to do nothing but be still. And that's what I've been doing. Even when I tried to move, he said, no, child, you need to get out of the way. And so I just wanted to do this video because I knew that somebody needed to see this, hear this. And remember, God is real. God is going to do everything that he told you he's going to do. He just needs you to do one thing. Not remove your tattoos. Not take your nose ring out. All of those things are sins, but he didn't say, don't, you got to stop. He said, come to me as you are now. And I'm telling you, when you start breaking off those things that are sin, those bad habits, it's going to start happening like this. I stopped smoking weed. God said, okay, I'm going to place it with this. I stopped smoking cigarettes. God said, I'm going to place it with this. I stopped drinking mimosas. God said, I'm going to place it with this. I stopped talking to this person. I stopped calling this person. I changed my phone number. And he, you know what I'm saying? So let God be your guidance. Let him protect you. Let him do what he said he's going to do, sis, bro. And I promise you, it's going to be like... So remember, God is real. I hope y'all have a blessed day. This is the third time I try to finish doing my video. But yeah, I hope y'all have a blessed day. I want to say a quick prayer and then we out of here. Lord, I just want to thank you for continuing to keep loving me. I want to thank you, God, for being the God of all gods, for being the Almighty Father, for being the Prince of Peace, for